explored out there. Just because it could be an interrupter, a blip for a bit, we don't think, as we've studied this, that many students are, that the traditional undergraduate student is wanting the 3-year 90 credit degree model. However, Endicott does, we're already ahead of this, right? Not only did we form a task force that is studying this already, but we offer an option inside of the Van Loan program to be able to do this non-traditional track overall at a lower price point. So we do have a lot of options. We're ahead of our competitors, and I think that it we're in a strong position. The last thing that we have, and what really tends to speak to that workforce alignment piece, is that Endicott, unlike many other institutions, has the Endicott Experiential Edge, right? Our internship program, which is our claim to fame. And there aren't other institutions that can claim this and have the same outcomes that we also offer. And so we know, and we'll talk, Megan will not talk about this. Megan had to leave. I'll tell you about that in a moment. But I'll cover her presentation, and we'll talk to you a little bit about the cross-app schools, where else we know that students are going and why they're going there. And the student survey comes back every time of our internship programs are the reason that students and families are selecting Endicott. And so we'll continue to lean into that, and you'll hear more about that from Anthony as well. On the DEIB front, this is something that, of course, is always over the news on what's going on. I have said since the beginning of my time when we did the January Gull Gathering in January 2025, when the new Trump administration had been inaugurated and was sending out executive orders, that we were going to continue what we do, business as usual. And that is where we are going to continue. The federal government is now heavily focused on what they are calling illegal DEI practices, right? Not on our DEI practices, which are Center for Belonging. And each of our employee resource groups, for example, or our student groups that are focused on DEIB overall, or affinity groups or belonging groups, are open to anyone, right? And so the illegal DEI practices, as they have been termed at the federal level, are those that are discriminatory, that are not open to anyone, or open to specific groups. And that is not what we offer here at Endicott. Brandy and her team focus on being inclusive, and I think that is important. What we are going to continue to do is support the communities that need us most, right? Remember that we were in compliance with the law on January 19th, and we continue to be in compliance with the law because all of the changes when it comes to and attacks on DEI as a whole have been through executive order, and executive order is not law. There's nothing that we are breaking at this point, and you know, as I see Mary Jane Weiss sitting right here, what's one of my favorite things to do, Mary Jane? A good legal battle. Yeah, Mary Jane knows the most that I love a good legal battle. She and I have been involved in a few. But oh, poor Mary Jane. My point is, we're ready, but we don't actually think that anything is, that we are out of compliance on any level with the law. Many people have asked me why we don't stick our head up and say something and do more when it comes to the DEI piece of this and to fight back. But I actually have decided, and we've talked about this with the trustees and with President's Cabinet, of a more pragmatic approach overall, right? Meaning that as we see groups that are being marginalized, we shift resources to support those groups within our community. You can see on the slide behind me that we recently joined the LGBTQ Leaders in Higher Education Association as an institutional member. I had been a member of this as an individual for years of the association and sit on the board. But we noticed that institutions in southern states were being forced to abandon their institutional membership to the LGBTQ Leaders in Higher Ed. And so that was a community that needed us most. And so what did we do? We joined as an institutional member at this point. we will continue to shift resources to the marginalized communities that need us the most. I think that that is really, really important and something that is in alignment with our mission that is here to inspire leadership through transformational learning. The one other story I'll share on that is we thankfully are in such a great place that there was a student on move-in day, a first-year student, who we discovered was unhoused and had no ability to pay their bill and to move on to campus, and was negatively impacted based off of the federal financial aid changes that we have seen overall in the Department of Education. And so I see Michael and Megan, of course, we were able to huddle quickly and redirect resources through the Inspire Scholarship to ensure that this student came to campus. And I think that that was a really, really important piece, and again, a demonstration of our focus on protecting our community and Endicott as a whole. Thank you. Finally, you've all seen when it comes to financial pressures, we have all seen the headlines everywhere of colleges and universities that are cutting programs and laying off people. There was even one of our sister institutions in Boston over the summer, we found out, told all of their employees to work from home so that they could, for the summer, so that they could save on utility bills. That is how bad things are at some institutions. And while these headlines are focused on cuts and layoffs and can lead to that idea of uncertainty, I am not uncertain, and I don't think anybody on stage is uncertain about what Endicott's future is as a whole. And those can be unsettling, but remember that we remain focused on being financially responsible. We are going to enhance revenue, and we're focused on creating new revenue streams to get in front of that 2033 enrollment cliff overall. And that keeps us true to our mission and keeps all of us in and at Endicott as a whole. So we are in a great, great position, regardless of the state of higher education that can seem like it's a little bit upsetting right now. I'll share this one last piece on the state of higher education. I was on a call with a couple of hundred presidents of colleges and universities across the country with some select senators and representatives, both Democrats and Republicans, talking about the Department of Education and what was happening with the Department of Ed. And one of the presidents asked the question, well, when do we return to normal? And the short answer to that is, in my opinion, so let me tell you, the senators and representatives all chimed in and said, well, we'll return to normal when the midterm elections happen, or we'll return to normal in 2028. But I actually disagree a little bit with that, right? The answer is, in my opinion, we don't return to how things were at the federal level in the Department of Education years ago. And that is because 2,300 employees were laid off in the Department of Education, positions eliminated just a couple of months ago. And that isn't going to allow, if things change in the midterm elections or if things change in 2028, that doesn't just mean that we're going to hire 2,300 highly skilled federal financial aid and Office of Civil Rights investigators back the next day and we're going to move forward. So what we need to be able to do is begin to operate now in what is this new normal, and Endicott, in my opinion, is positioned well to do that. If you think about who we are as a community, our 90-year history has trained us to be extremely adaptable, and that's something that many other institutions that are much more seasoned, let's say, have not been able to do. Think about who Endicott was, right? We started almost 90 years ago as a 2-year women's college. And it was only 40 years ago that we were flailing a little bit. We were selling off assets, selling off land 40 years ago to be able to stay open. But where are we today? We shifted and we became co-ed. We added athletics. We've added majors. Not one of our academic buildings is older than 15 years old. Maybe 12, 15, 20, something like that, but they're not really old. We are in a really, really good, strong position. We've become nationally recognized by our marquee program, by the internship, the Endicott Experiential Ed program that I had mentioned, and for our student outcomes. We've demonstrated that we are nimble and we are able to pivot, and we are going to continue to do that. So when we ask the question of when do we return to normal, I think Endicott is more well-positioned than any of those other hundreds of presidents that I had mentioned on the call. I have a minute to tell a funny story about this question. So, little known fact, I'm a serious presidential historian, like United States president, right? Love that kind of history. So I'm on this call, and this president that asked the question of when do we return to normal actually says, like, this is not a direct quote, but something to the effect of, in the words of a university president colleague and a former president of the United States, when can we expect a return to normalcy? Okay, that did not land as well as it did with my other presidential historian friends. Here's the deal. He was referencing Woodrow Wilson, who was the president of Johns Hopkins University and Princeton University, and also the president of the United States. But it was Warren Harding that campaigned on return to normalcy. Thank you. Oh, that was a disaster. Speaking of the Titanic, I am on it now. Moving on to fiscal 26 areas of focus. So I mentioned that President's Cabinet retreat. This is my last slide, I promise, and then I'll get off the stage. We, as Cabinet, sat down and talked about what we were going to do, right? In January, and both in January and in March, during our last gall gatherings and the appointment of acting president, I talked significantly about the fact that we were going to continue our campus enhancement plan. And the campus enhancement plan, thankfully, has been relatively completed at the end of the summer with the start of the academic year. And we knew that in May when we were sitting down saying, well, what's next for Endicott overall? And we identified these 4 areas of focus that will be part of this, that are all part of the strategic plan, Sail Beyond the Shore, that we will focus on during this academic year and throughout the summer. And that was the first one, and the most important piece is our revenue enhancement plan. So we've appointed 5 different leaders and areas inside of revenue enhancement overall, and you'll hear all about the specifics of this from each member of Cabinet today. And we're focused on revenue enhancement. It is always less expensive to keep a student here than it is to recruit larger and larger classes, like I had talked earlier about making things up based on volume. So our first area of revenue enhancement is on undergraduate revenue. We're focused on the retention rate. Every single percentage that which is about percentage point is about 30 students here on campus in the first year area. Every percentage point that we increase retention is $1 million to the bottom line, right? Such an important metric and such an important number to us. So I know that Brittany Hyde, I always want to call, she'll always be Brittany Potter to me. Brittany Hyde and Matt Heiser are focused on retention initiatives right now. And when I say that we're focused on retention initiatives, we're focused on measuring retention initiatives. I think one of the things, Dana Toby too, very focused on the retention task force. But we're focused on measurement so that we can now understand every single student, what their purposeful points of engagement are on campus, and then we can invest in each of those purposeful points of engagement that increase and are proven to increase the retention rate overall. In the graduate and Van Loan revenue areas, Tom Hurley, there he is, and Julie Calzini are focused right now on helping us understand the long-term graduate and grad and van loan revenue areas. And what that means a couple of things. Long range, we're talking about persistence and completion rates, right? We're talking about enrollment, and we're talking about new programs overall. In the short term, we're also talking about persistence and completion rates. And so as Tom and Julie put their long-range plans together, I'm also going out and meeting with deans and program directors of all of the graduate programs to talk about what their short-term revenue targets are and how we can invest in their completion and persistence rates overall. Athletics revenue is an important piece to us. Athletics not only contributes to the retention rate, but there are other revenue opportunities inside of athletics overall. All of our facilities, how we're using them, and sponsorships, even also new programs. And so Megan Monaco, Tony Ferrulo, and Brian Wiley are focused on those athletics revenue enhancement opportunities. Institutional advancement revenue, you're going to hear that we have shifted a lot of our institutional advancement fundraising arm into a greater government relations connection, and it has paid off in dividends. You'll hear from Pat in a little bit that we have $786,000 coming from the federal government at the end of the month to support engineering overall, and engineering equipment and programs. And that's huge, especially when we go back to the slide of the state of higher ed. There aren't many institutions that are getting nearly $1 million in grant funding right now. And it's because we're focused on being a teaching institution rather than being in the line of fire in the area of research and those administrative costs that come along with it. And finally, in auxiliary revenue, Tony and his team are focused on understanding what the economies of scale are between the Wiley Conference Center and Mistlewood events, for example. There are auxiliary revenue enhancement opportunities that are there. Next is data-informed decision-making. We as a team have agreed that we are all focused and we will only make decisions based off of data-informed things, right? This is, again, why it's so important that we are going and measuring the retention purposeful points of engagement overall. We have to know what's working and what's not working so that we can understand our strengths to retain and those that we need to repurpose. Interdepartmental and interdisciplinary collaboration is another really important part that also contributes to that revenue enhancement. Where can we find economies of scale? Where can we find student area program interests? Deb Swan and I met just yesterday, and we're talking about all of the different areas that esports as a major can connect into, right? Communications, business, computer science. There are so many different opportunities. And Amy Smith and Julie Calzini and I have met to talk about the same opportunities inside of their schools. So there are a lot of opportunities, and we need to continue those conversations widely. And finally, we're going to continue to invest in people and culture. And what does that mean? It's a culture of openness here at Endicott. If you actually trace back to why we are able to be as nimble and as flexible and in front of things as we are, it's because we have each other. And we have invested in this culture of ideas, of brainstorming, of connection, of the ability for anybody to go and talk to anyone about anything. It was years ago, a previous institution that I had worked in, I was the executive director of marketing, I think, and I had sat down with the provost at the time of that institution and said, I have a really great idea to have a conversation about something. And she looked across the table at me and said, Brian, those types of ideas come from the top down, not the bottom up. She was really fun. But my point in telling you that story is I do not subscribe to the idea that there is even a top down or a bottom up, right? We should be having a conversation always. If there is an area of enhancement for our students and their outcomes or to our mission as a whole, I want to know about it. Every member of cabinet wants to know about it. And so we ask that you please share those things. And that is the investment in the people and the culture that we want to promote here at Endicott. So with that, I will turn it over to a much more fun provost, Sarah Quay. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. I definitely don't have a presidential joke, so I'm going to skip over that and try and be entertaining at least a little bit. So speaking of people and culture, I just want to recognize some new members of our community and academics. Welcoming Dr. Chris Westgate, our Associate Provost of Academic Affairs, and congratulating Dr. Brittany Hyde, who has been promoted to the Dean of the Endicott Center for Teaching and Learning. There's a lot of other promotions, but these are two special team members. I also want to welcome our new faculty. We celebrated them at convocation and made them stand, so I won't do that today. But as you see new faces around the academic buildings, please welcome them. Chris and Mike Deal are doing a great job orienting them to Endicott through our new faculty orientation and mentoring program. And it's just wonderful to have you all here. So welcome to the new faculty. I also wanted to share some good news, speaking of data. We've been ranked number 5 in the country by LinkedIn Top Colleges for the number of graduates who complete an internship. We got a special shout out for the fact that all of our students complete 2 internships. If they had called up Dale or any of our internship faculty, we could have told them that all of our students complete at least 3 internships, and we would have been number 1. But close enough. This is a great ranking for us, and we'll get that out there to celebrate even more. So congratulations to all the internship folks for all the great work they do. And directly related, we continue to have outstanding career outcomes. This is definitely a direct correlation to the great work that we do with our interns and clinical placements. You can see 98% of our students are employed or in graduate school. This is the class of 2024. 89% are in a job directly related to their area of study, and 54% were offered a job from their internship site. So this is all consistent over 10 years. Some years it's a little higher or lower in each category, but thanks to Kate Crost and the Career Center team for putting together all that data every year. In case you haven't heard, there's this little thing called artificial intelligence that is changing the way we do pretty much everything. And I'm pleased that we're launching a new college-wide AI site. It's going to include not only some of the guidelines and policies that have been developing and will continue to develop as AI develops and changes things, but also is going to share some of the great work that has been happening and continues to happen. We're sending to the curriculum committee next week, a new AI minor that's interdisciplinary, again, to one of Brian's 4 strategic initiatives. Every school is represented. We're hoping to get that launched, and there's just a lot of other great things that the faculty and staff have been doing over the past couple years. So when that gets live tomorrow, dig around on there. I think you'll be impressed at what you find. And I also want to thank the academic technology team, Hedrick and James in particular, for their assistance. We can't talk about academics without talking about our students, so I wanted to highlight an opportunity the Center for Civic Participation, which you'll be hearing more about this year, sent 3 students to a summer civic seminar on the Chesapeake Bay. You've seen this, I think it's come out in multiple Around the Nest, getting great coverage in our news. So we're going to continue to find ways to support our students and help them have opportunities like these 3 students did. Funded, sometimes not funded, but really trying to open up the doors beyond just the great things we do on campus. And then finally, just a couple recognitions. I wanted to congratulate the School of Education. Julie and her team got through a really rigorous process to have our School of Education, in particular our education doctorate, be part of the Carnegie Project on the education doctorate. This is a signature mark. It really values the fact that the EDD is practice-based in nature, and that aligns beautifully with our mission. So kudos to that team for that recognition. And then finally, second ABET accreditation for our BS, this time for a BS in bioengineering, just came through. I emailed Jean and Jessica Kaufman on Monday morning, I think it was, or Tuesday morning, and when are we going to get the final approval? And I think 3 hours later, Jess wrote back, she's like, we just got it. So I just want to point out that this note at the bottom, no deficiencies, weaknesses, or concerns are found. In the world of accreditation, that's incredible. Like, that's almost unheard of. So excellent job, fantastic program. And then finally, I just want to share that we have an official date for our 10-year NETCHI accreditation visit. The visit dates will be April 4th through 7th, 2027, which is actually much sooner than you think. All members, there will be members from across the community who are involved in various subcommittees that are aligned with the different standards. We'll be releasing those committee memberships in the next few weeks. Maria Wong and Donnie Femino are co-chairing the NETCHI steering committee, and so we're in great hands. It's going to be a big lift across the college, but it's a great chance to celebrate what we do well and learn from our peer evaluators ways we can be better. So that is my update from academics, and I think I'm turning it back to you, Brian, to speak for Megan. Thank you all.
So yes, Megan was just, as we were getting ready to walk up here, got a call that she had a medical issue to go and help her kid with, her youngest son, Robbie. So she jetted out, and I said I would butcher her presentation for her overall. She even has in her notes where to click, and I'm like, oh, God, that's... So the class of 2029 that we had mentioned a moment ago, first year applications. This is a record number for us overall. The most applications we've ever received. Oh, excuse me. And we have 850 new students that are coming in. So again, remember 850 was our target overall. We hit that target. And, yes, undoubtedly, as I mentioned before, with the international student population overall, and with the cost of other institutions going through and putting so much more money on the street, increasing their discount rate so significantly, we felt as if the yield, what we call yield, the number of those applications that actually showed up, was a little bit soft. That's common across the entire sector, though. It's not just with us, right? So I don't want anybody to think that that means that we are on any sort of a downward trajectory or anything like that. This was commonly felt across the entire sector at institutions similar to Endicott. Again, that we were getting pulled up from, they were seeing their deposits being pulled up from more elite institutions. Here's some other data points on the class of 2029 that came in. 3.62 average weighted GPA. Most of them are not most of them. I think this is one of the first times I've seen that we haven't had about 50% coming from Massachusetts. So I think that is really key to say that we're growing outside of New England with our 28 states that are represented. And we're in a really strong position with these outstanding characteristics. What are admitted students saying about Endicott? This was the admitted student survey overall. We had a 26% response rate. And so there's the difference of the matriculated respondents, right? Those are the respondents that came to Endicott, and the non-matriculated respondents are those that were admitted but decided not to come to Endicott. And you can see that the students that decided to come to Endicott, again, came as a result of the internship and other applied learning opportunities that they have in front of them. Their specific academic program that we're offering tells us that we're offering that right mix of academic programs, comfort and sense of fit, right? We feel like a community, like home here for students, and career preparation. Why are students not coming to Endicott after they apply and are accepted? Well, affordability, financial aid, and net price overall. That's that part that we had talked about. Institutions are really putting a lot of money on the street because while we may have felt our yield or applications were soft overall deposits, they clearly felt that theirs really were. And I think there were a lot of institutions that are in big trouble this year overall. Again, a specific academic program that perhaps we are not offering. And there are some other reasons that they chose not to come because of comfort and sense of fit. But I actually find that to be a good thing, that 27% of our students are saying this isn't the right spot for me. Again, because they know it before they get here, which means that we are able to retain and focus on the students that want to be here and see a strong sense of fit overall. Clearinghouse data, this is who we cross-app with overall. You can see that we are in really good company overall with some of the institutions that we are cross-apping with. The one that has gotten a little bit of movement over the past few years is the UMass Amherst overall, and we know that that is most likely because of price sensitivity compared to Endicott. I will note how important it is to say that this list has changed dramatically over the past 10 years or so, and you see a really strong set of competitors and where we are seeing students apply. And I think that this is something that we should all be really, really proud of. It's the work that all of you have done to be able to level Endicott up overall. We have said many, many times that we don't want to be the hidden gem that is Endicott on the North Shore. And I think based off of this list overall, you can see that we most certainly are not, and it's working. Last slide of Megan's is, if you have not been up to see the new Welcome Center yet, overall, Allison and Michael and Dana are probably going to murder me for saying this. Please go and take a walk and stop by. You should walk up to the new Welcome Center at College Hall. You'll see a couple of pictures of it in Tony's presentation in a minute. But we are having a ribbon cutting that will happen on Thursday, October 16th at 4 p.m. You're all invited. I'm sure that there will be refreshments. And if there's one thing I know about Endicott Gulls, they show up for refreshments. So we'll see you at 4 o'clock. Really, really an important place. You'll see that the Welcome Center overall is more accessible, which we think was important. The view is stunning, and it is truly the welcome that all of our students and their families deserve when they arrive to campus, and is really going to be a game changer for us. I can't imagine that students won't see or feel a sense of fit and being at home the moment that they walk into this Welcome Center. It's an incredible spot. So with that, I'm done. Brandy.
It's like my worst fear, the big face. There we go. Whoa, let me throw on some glasses though, because I have no idea what's going on the screen. Hi everyone, welcome back. Hey friends. All right, so this summer, per usual, got super dorky with Gail and did some alliterations, and I'm gonna tell you about those programs in a moment. But before that, as Dr. Kane mentioned, a big focus of ours in President's Cabinet is people and culture. For me, people, culture, empowerment, compassion, all of those things combined. So with the assistance of human resources and a lot of conversation amongst some of the ERG leaders over the summer, we've added a couple of employee resource groups this year. I'm not going to read from the full slides, that's why they're up there, but I'm going to tell you the two new ones that got added, which is Aging with Impact, the 62+ one, and they're having a lunch next week from 12:30 to 1:30. If you're interested, shoot on by. And then the next one, the caregivers, was in conjunction with the parents ERG, the working parents ERG, working families ERG, and it is now its own subset. They meet in Eat Cafe on specific dates, which an email should be going out tomorrow or the next day. I got to talk to Anthony about that. That's marketing. I'm on top of it. And then the other new one that got added in is one about spirituality at the workplace. So if you're interested in joining any of those employee resource groups, please either contact myself or Gail, check out the email that comes out, and sign up on one of the Google Forms. Tea and trainings. Yep, there goes my alliterations. This is our second year in a row doing them. They were decently successful last year. This year, I'm hoping they become more successful. We're kicking the first one off on the 16th regarding relentless optimism with Bobby Dutton, who is an entrepreneur. He actually, for whatever. He's an entrepreneur. You guys can look him up. It will be a good session. There is food at it. It's an hour long in the Center for Belonging. And then we have an alum coming in, Isis Patterson, who was in our single parent program years ago. Phenomenal student. She is also coming to talk about imposter syndrome. And then in October, Gretchen Hoover, who is also an entrepreneur, is going to talk about growing your emotional intelligence. So stop by those if you have an opportunity. Okay, the pause and dialogue opportunities. So we have mindful moments. Yep, here we go with the alliterations. On Mondays, starting this coming Monday, there will be muffins and meditation, which has been a fan fave. We have bagels and breathing, which is on Fridays. Journals and journeying is happening today, directly after this at 2 p.m. Mandalas and munchies, a new thing that's been added in. And then sound bath, I couldn't come up with a rhyme, so just go with it. There's going to be a sound bath. And then collage and charcuterie, because who doesn't like charcuterie? And then closing it out, we're still sticking with Dine and Dialogue, which was one of our signature programs in 2020 that began, it was what started off a lot of the dialogue and conversation in the Center for Belonging. And this year, the first one is going to be centered around a new initiative that we have going on, which is the Other Championship. It's a collaborative initiative that Gail came up with and is working with Christy Galatis and others, AJ and Student Affairs, multiple other offices. It's in regards to promoting compassion and empowerment on campus. If you're interested in participating, you know Gail, so shoot her an email and she would be more than happy to have you be a part of it. Next up, the Hewitt.
All right, thanks, Brandy, and Happy New Year, everybody. Before I go in, it occurred to me before I came up that it's been a habit of mine to fail to introduce Tony Ferrulo when I rush off the podium. Each one of these events, I fail to do it. So Tony Ferrulo will be following me and will be delivering, awe-inspiring remarks. Look forward to that. I'll try to do it again at the end. All right. So as we start the new academic year, I'm pleased to announce that the Spread Your Wings campaign for Endicott College has surpassed the $60 million mark. That's great news. And we're slightly ahead of schedule. I'll come back to that. So you can see here our progress trajectory over the course of the campaign, which started January 1st of 2021. So when campaigns like Spread Your Wings, these multi-year campaigns are planned, they have to be planned out over a long period of time. So the planning for this campaign was by and large done in 2020 after the college had done a strategic plan in 2019. So they were looking out over a long period of time and trying to forecast what the conditions would be like. And oftentimes, when you make a plan like this, you make some assumptions that often lead to assumptions where the world's going to look a lot like the recent past. And it's not, right? The world we encounter today is not like the world that they were writing about in 2020. Since then, we've lived through a pandemic, a consequential, I'll call it, to put it mildly, election, and now AI seems destined to radically change the future of work and how we train students and educate students to go and occupy and thrive in the workplace. Donors' interests have evolved. Teammates have moved on or stepped up. And some opportunities we counted on simply changed. That's normal in a long-term campaign. But when I'm a sports fan, and when I look at this trajectory, I see like the point spread of a typical Celtics game. We got off to a really hot start, right? Celtics first quarters, when they're going well, tend to be awesome. Things tighten up oftentimes in the third quarter, but when the Celtics are going really well, if any Celtics fans are out there, they tend to explode in the fourth quarter. Derek White starts hitting threes, the crowd comes to life, and the fourth quarter is a real celebration, right? Well, my intention is for our fourth quarter to be like a Celtics fourth quarter, and that's why we spent the last year or so planning Campaign 2.0. All right? So Spread Your Wings Campaign 2.0. What are the hallmarks of that? Got ahead of myself a little bit. So the core message of Campaign 2.0 is simple. We upgraded our team, refreshed the case for support, and we're executing a disciplined plan to deliver a target of $45 million in solicitations by the end of the campaign, so that by the end of the campaign, we have successfully raised the remaining $15 million we need to hit our goal, and hopefully much more. All right? So what does this look like in practice? So in terms of the reinforced team, we've made adjustments to put the right people in the right roles to sustain and grow major gift activity and our follow-through on those major gifts. We refreshed our case for support. So sharp, we've worked a lot with CCM and actually many people in this room to sharpen our stories and make sure that those stories are aligned with where Endicott is going next, so that gifts feel timely, strategic, and high impact. We've also touched up our solicitation strategy and execution. So we've got a paced pipeline with a clear case manager, a timeline, and an ask amount for every one of our top prospects. So the goal isn't to rewrite the campaign, it's to re-aim it so that momentum turns into results. So that's Campaign 2.0. So the surging success of Giving Day, which everyone here has participated in for the most part, is evidence that our campus is flush with people and ideas who donors are eager to support. Still, a campaign benefits from identifying a discrete number of campus-spanning initiatives that spark donors' imagination and impact the whole campus, not just an individual program. Happily, we have 4 emerging priorities here at Endicott that do just that, and that we are eagerly bringing to donors for support as we speak. And here they are. So, and there'll be more to come about all of those priorities in the months and years ahead. So, how can you play a role? Fundraising at a college is a team sport. And as always, there are ways anyone here can help us succeed. So, starting with, here we go, Homecoming and Reunion Weekend, which is October 3rd through the 6th. You may be sitting there and saying, how could I help with Reunion and Homecoming Weekend? Many of you, I'm looking at coaches, I'm looking at faculty members, deans, advisors, many of you have former students who you remain in touch with, right? You may text periodically. What a great opportunity to be in touch and drop them a note and say, hey, it would be awesome to see you. Are you coming back to campus October 3rd through the 6th? Come to a game, drop by campus. An easy way to help is to text a former player or student and just encourage them to come. Giving Day. Giving Day is scheduled for March 4th, right? I don't need to actually speak much about this because the institutional advancement team will be speaking with everybody for months and months in the lead up to that, and we look forward to partnering with you again on making this Giving Day our most successful yet in a variety of ways you can help. Also, we are hosting goal meetups. These are lightly formal gatherings of alumni, parents, friends. We're hosting them on campus, so we're working with our athletics teams as a start to host these small receptions on campus and welcome alumni and friends back. But we're hosting them around the country as well. So if you're in a department and you think you have a group of alumni who might be interested in coming back to campus, it could be for a talk, it could be for some kind of event or a lecture or some kind of capstone project, any number of things, and you think there's an alumni group who would be interested in coming back and participating in that, the Institutional Advancement Office is eager to work with you and help plan an event that welcomes them back. So, that is my presentation, and I'm at time, and it's my pleasure to introduce Tony Ferrullo as our next speaker.
He still didn't advance the slides, but that's okay. All right, so real quick, a couple quick things. The longer that I work with and for Brian, the less he takes my advice. So when I said at lunch, do not mention Woodrow Wilson, he chose to continue to mention Woodrow Wilson. Second of all, I know there's some of you out there that tick off a list to see what we're going to mention. Tony's always going to show the endowment slide, tick it off. We need to memorialize. I did not hear Brian utter the state of Michigan one time. Like, holy smoke, right? We gonna close with it? Like, what do you got? You're all... All right, so here we go. Let's do it. Speaking of things I always mention, I have decided in my capital update, because the seawall was such a pain, I'm gonna mention it every time I get up here. Right, Rick? Where's Rick? Seawall's done. So just some projects that we did this year. Brian mentioned the Workday implementation is live. The student module is live. We're now doing everything in there. The Wiley Inn has been renovated. The Welcome Center project was able to get done. We had some athletic enhancements, and we were able to fix some of the crosswalks and make them brick this year. So just a few pictures. We talked about the Wiley Inn renovation. That is now live. It has made a significant difference for them and on campus. There's now a grab and go over there in the morning. Head over there. The bar is open at night. We've headed over there a few times. The bar is now consistently, because sometimes we feel like we're on the Titanic and we have to go to the bar after work. So we do some campus updates there. I mean, some work over there. So here is a quick picture of the Welcome Center. That is where financial aid, the registrar, and the bursar was sitting. So there is a picture of what that now looks like. We'll be hosting groups of up to 100, 150 new students there. But as Brian said, if you have a chance, get over there and take a look at it. Some athletic enhancements. We were able to resurface the tennis courts. We redid the turf field at the North Field for baseball and field hockey. So that got done as well. And then quick picture of the brick crosswalks. We didn't get them all done. I think we got about half of them done. You can be sure we'll be getting the rest of them done next summer. But there's some of the capital enhancements that we got done this summer. Now for the exciting stuff. Revised purchasing policy. So with Workday coming in, we had trials and tribulations. Our purchasing team works really, really hard to help everybody. Just to make a couple of quick notes to some changes and some limits that we have done. Purchase orders are now required for anything over $25,000. I think that was biggest applause of the day right there. Purchases over $100,000 will now require 3 quotes, and if you do anything over $200,000, we require a competitive bid process. So all of these are very important to know. It's also, the limits are now hopefully help streamline some of the purchasing here, and our purchasing team is here to help you. So Susan and Maureen, who do a great job and work really hard, they're here to help, and thank you. And our policies are out there on the Workday website. Student workers. All right. One of the other pain points of Workday, so this is for anyone who has student workers, just to let you know if you can help us. Students are going in and they're able to change their direct deposit election, but in doing so, they're also changing their refund election. So where their student refund would go. Can you please let your students know if they change the student refund election, they will not get their money. So just a little something for those of you that have student employees, if you can help with that, that would be great. Risk management. So Brian talked a lot about the state of higher education, and we all know that there's a lot of things that are going on. About a year ago, we started what we call an enterprise risk management project here on campus. A lot of you have already helped, so thank you that. It's a process where we go in and we think about the risks that affect higher education, then we think about those risks that affect Endicott and what we're going to do about those things. So what a risk management project does, the goals of it, we improve safety, we try to reduce costs, increase our student retention, increase donor revenue. I'm not going to read them all, but really focusing on which risks impact Endicott and how we're going to handle those things. So we talk about some of the emerging trends in higher education. We talk about academic program innovations and making sure we're focused on those majors where students can get jobs. We're refining strategies. Brian talked about the DEI initiatives and having college access for everybody. We're facing stark realities and reshaping budgets. Brian talked about us being able to be flexible and manage through that, so we are. We talk about retention challenges and brand strength. So these are some of the things that are trending in higher education. So just a quick update. We had a lot of people work on this, but and I don't think there are a lot of surprises here. But these were the 3 risks that rose to the top for Endicott. So technology and some of the things that go there. We've got academic and student affairs. where it's student mental health and program quality, and of course financial. We talk about the enrollment cliff and economic downturn. So I bring these up because when we're having our budget meetings and we're having campus meetings, we have decided we're going to invest our resources and make sure they're going to address these risks and that we're keep ahead of these things. Brian mentioned we are ahead in some places. We certainly don't want to fall behind. So it's an important project that we're doing to identify these risks and make sure we're addressing them. So just to let you know exactly where we are, we're 90% finished with the risk treatment. We've got action items for each of those risks that will be handled over the next 3 years. Each of those risks have work groups, and we have work group check-in meetings, so I'm sure I will be mentioning this again. But it's a very important project that we have undertaken. So that is my update, and I would like to introduce, because I do introductions, Anthony.
Thank you, Tony. I don't know if it is a form of hazing for the first time up here to have to follow finance and operations and a risk management update. I see some glazed eyes over there, but I guess this is my official welcome. But I'm really excited to share some updates from the communications and marketing team, some things that we've been working on and how we're kind of implementing some of the strategies and things that Brian mentioned. So one of the big things that we do, obviously, is to expand and to get and raise awareness about the brand of Endicott College. Brian mentioned that we are coming at our things from a position of strength as an institution, and that really translates to our brand. So what we've been able to do over the summer is really generate a lot more media coverage. This is trying to get other people to tell our stories and the stories of all of the great work that you all are doing, that our students are doing, that we're hearing about today and really hear about every day, because Endicott is a truly special institution. So this year in the summer, we've gotten some great coverage from Mass Live. We had Cindy Mitsakis was featured in an article about those wonderful Canadian wildfires that made everything all smoky around here and what the health impact of that was. We had a feature on Dr. Westgate being named as an associate provost here in the Mass Live playbook, or Massachusetts playbook from Politico. And then just this summer as well, with the Concours d'Elegance, our wonderful car show, we're able to get some radio spot where Brian was interviewed for that. These may seem like small things, but they're really the backbone of our media relations strategy, in that they keep Endicott out there in front of a variety of different audiences that might not generally see or hear about Endicott, but it's creating a familiarity. It's creating that brand awareness that's really important from some trusted names in terms of the media. So we're looking to continue to grow this and to continue to expand. So we might be reaching out, members of my team, if we have and see opportunities for Endicott to have a perspective, to weigh in on an article or a topic that's being written about. So please feel free to respond to us if we do reach out, or if you see something or see an opportunity, please coordinate and reach out to our team. Again, this is the backbone. We love those feature stories. Getting a feature story in the Boston Globe is amazing, but that comes with a lot of hard work, which we do, but also a little bit of luck as well. So we need to keep the volume up on these. Beyond our earned media, we're also focused on telling those stories internally to our audience here. I hope that you are all familiar with our Goals with Grit campaign, spearheaded by Sarah Sweeney as her idea. And yeah, we can clap. I see my team clapping. And Aaron and David Lee with the photography for this. Really a great initiative meant to connect with our academic theme of Goals Rise Above and tell the stories of resilience and perseverance and growth from members of our community. Our paths aren't easy, and I think, with the way that social media portrays things, influencers and what our students are inundated with, this idea of perfection, this curated view of one's lived experience. It's really important to understand that that's not the reality, that there are challenges that we overcome. And again, Sarah spearheaded this wonderful initiative to tell these stories. One great one from Brian. Really, all of these stories are great. So if you haven't checked them all out, watch the videos. The installation is right across the way over here in the Hempstead Commons, and we'll be releasing more in the spring semester. So if you do want to tell your story, please feel free to reach out to our team. Next, I just want to touch briefly on our digital strategy. So our website launched earlier this year. Thank you, Dan and Charlene, for all of your hard work to make that happen, and really the cross-collaboration from everyone across the community to weigh in on what the website needed. We were able to really impact a great web redesign. But in the interest of data-driven decision-making, kind of justifying what the impact and the success of that was, we have seen so far a 20% decrease in the bounce rate on our site. So this is people that come to our site, visit one page, and then leave. So that's not generally a measure of a good site. You want people to be going to and through multiple pages. A 12% increase in the engaged sessions. Those are people visiting multiple pages, clicking on buttons, interacting with the site. And a 20% increase on time on site. So we're seeing people spend more time on our website. So these are kind of metrics we're looking at and tracking that are really showing us that that was a wonderful success. So thank you to all of you for your help with that. The other big thing that we saw is a 63% of our site traffic actually comes from organic search, which basically means this is people who are searching for Endicott, finding us through keywords. Using that data, we were able to work with our agency partner and really streamline all of the content on our website, include more metadata on our pages, and just better surface the pages for people that are looking for them. And in quite a few cases, as we looked at the keyword research after we implemented this earlier on in the spring, saw us jump 40 spots in some searches, which is really the equivalent of being on the 4th or 5th page of a Google search result, which I'm assuming most of you have never gone to the 4th or the 5th page on a Google search result, to being on that first page, to jumping into that top 5 in some cases. So this is ongoing work, something that we'll continue to do, but really important that we're leveraging the data to drive our decisions around that. And then just closing out, wanted to talk about our paid advertising strategies in the digital realm, and really that brand building. So how are we attracting new people to our website, to Endicott, to learn more about us, to increase that brand awareness? And really one of the big ways is expanding on a pilot that we ran last fall, which was a video campaign around experiential edge. It was kind of our launch campaign. We did some YouTube ads, which we've never really done before, and garnered extreme success with that, generating over 2 million views on the ads that we were running through YouTube. So we're doubling down on that strategy. We're going to run some more YouTube this fall, but we're also going to expand that into display and really expand our advertising strategy beyond the paid search, where we're relying on getting people to our website to see how special we are, and more into getting photos and videos out there of the Endicott experience. Because, I mean, we all know this. This is the most beautiful campus that exists, and we need to showcase that. So we're really excited about that, and even more excited about the targeting and the collaboration with the admissions team, where we're able to uncover a lot more data and use that to drive our segmentation strategy so that we can expand this into geographic areas where we have some opportunity, as well as reflect the profile of the students that are applying to Endicott and those that we want to aspirationally apply to Endicott. So we're really excited at the opportunity, and thank you for the chance to share an update with you. It's now my pleasure to introduce Kate White.
All right, thanks, Anthony. All right, I see we're losing people, so we're going to get through this really quick. Hang in there with me, please. So I'm just going to cover a few things that we're focusing on in HR this fall. So as Brian mentioned earlier, there are two important focus areas for this year are people and culture and data-driven decisions. Both of these are the driver behind this new partnership we have with Willis Towers Watson to build a career framework. You're probably saying, what the heck is a career framework? So simply put, a career framework is a tool that connects our business goals with our business goals and objectives with your individual role and career path. Think of it kind of like a GPS for your career. Here at Endicott, it shows you exactly where you are, where you can go, and what you need to do to get there. So what does this mean for you as an employee? This framework brings a lot of great changes, one being transparency. You'll have a clear view of your growth path, no more guessing what you need to do to take the next step in your career. This framework is going to clearly outline the skills and expectations for each level, so you can see exactly where you stand and what's next. It's also going to give you clear mobility. So what does that mean? We'll be creating consistent job language across all roles and departments. So this makes it easier for you to explore opportunities and see how your skills may be easily transferable to another role in another department. And then finally, pay equity. This framework will be guided by market benchmarks and internal equity. So this allows us to maintain fair and equitable pay across the college consistently. So then what does this mean for Endicott? This isn't just about individual personal growth, this is about making Endicott stronger as a whole. So this is going to give us the tools to do better hiring. We'll be able to find and hire the right people faster. This framework is going to give us a clear standard for what we need, which helps us to attract top talent who are really the perfect fit for the roles. It's also going to give us this competitive edge. A key part of this is ensuring our compensation remains equitable, helping us to not only attract new talent, but really to keep the amazing people that we already have here today in this room. And then smarter planning. This framework gives us better, more accurate data on our workforce. So it's going to allow us to more effectively plan for our future, ensuring we have the right people in the right roles at the right time as we grow as a college. So in short, this framework is it's a win-win for everybody. It empowers you with a clear path for growth while strengthening our entire organization. So today, this is really meant to be a very brief introduction to this for you. I don't expect you to remember much of what I've said. I promise we will be sharing a lot more in the future as this project progresses over the fall. All right, and then another slide that you're probably looking at saying, what the heck is this? So next, which is also driven by our focus on people and culture and data-driven decisions, I want to briefly talk about an important tool we'll be introducing in October that's going to better help us understand our workplace, which is the Gallup Q12 survey. What is the Q12 survey? The Q12 is a survey with, you guessed it, 12 questions that help us measure how engaged and happy our employees are. Think of this one as like a quick proven health check for our company culture. So it gives us a snapshot of what's working and where we can improve. So why is this important to us? Employee engagement isn't just a buzzword, it really does impact our success as a whole. So when our teams are more engaged, they perform better. It's pretty simple. So the Q12 is going to help us in 4 key ways. It's going to give us the tools to be more productive. So engaged employees are more focused, efficient, and innovative, which mean they get more done and do better work. It's going to allow us to keep great people. So when people feel connected to their work and their team, they're more likely to stay. This helps us hold on to our most talented people and reduce our turnover rates. It's going to help make our customers happier. Engaged employees provide better service, so this leads to more satisfied customers or students, however we want to look at that, and build stronger customer loyalty. And then overall, it helps us create a better workplace. The survey helps us build a more positive and supportive culture for everyone, making Endicott a great place to work. So overall, our goal here is to understand what's working and where we can improve. You're going to hear, again, a lot more about this. I don't expect you to remember everything that I'm telling you today, but please keep an eye out for more communication. I can assure you there's going to be a lot of communication about this. So please come and ask questions. But my big ask for you is when we do launch this survey, please participate. We want to hear from you. We need to hear from you. And that's why we're doing it. So participation is going to be key in this. All right. Then, continuing down the path of investing in our people and culture, what I wanted to really quickly highlight, this is nothing new here, but I wanted to remind you, I was actually reminded of this, even though this is something that we've invested in the HR, from HR, is LinkedIn Learning. I actually logged in a couple weeks ago and was poking around in there. The resources there are really, really amazing. I was kind of blown away for a second time. I had seen it a while ago, saw it again. So I really wanted to highlight it. We can tell not a lot of people are using this, so please go in and use this. It's a free resource there. There's a little box in your Workday dashboard where you can access it. So please, there's access to courses that can help you with your career path if you're looking to grow. There's courses that can help you in your current role. You can really tailor it to whatever you want. So please use that. And then, somewhat lastly is another investment that we are making this year, also on the professional development side, is a partnership with an organization called Academic Impressions. And this is to expand our professional development offerings. So this partnership will give all of our staff and faculty access to a wide range of professional development resources, live webinars, and extensive library of on-demand content. So I really just wanted to give you a heads up on this, that this is coming. Really focusing on more professional development opportunities is something we've heard from you. We value it, and we do find it very important, so we are investing in this, and we'll be sharing more in the coming year on that. And then lastly, I won't read all of this because it is here for you, but just a few important reminders. The one I will highlight here is our benefits open enrollment. Thank you all for participating in our benefits survey, so we'll be communicating a lot more about benefits in the coming weeks as we lead up to the open enrollment period. So you'll get plenty of communication about that too. So now we will move on to I think the most anticipated part of today, maybe, for some, is the selection of our ticket winners for the North Shore Music Theater's production of Rent.
So Kate and Franny and Kayla and Maureen cut up everybody's name and put them in this box. And we've got four sets of 2. There was such an overwhelming response. I had 4 tickets, 2 sets of 2 for Rent that's coming up. And there was such an overwhelming response of people that were interested in the tickets. We bought 2 more sets. So 4 sets altogether that we can give away. You're holding.
I'm holding
Oh.
it. You're gonna.
All right, here we go. Do you have to be present to win?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely not. No, just kidding. Bridget Nestor. Huh?
Bridget here. Oh no.
Bridget.
Bridget doesn't win.
Oh, all right. We'll let it go,
Okay.
Bridget. I thought everybody just got up to leave because Human Resources got up to talk. Sydney Clark. Is that a no on Sydney? Sorry, Sydney. Thomas Dubois. Got it. Jen Lesswing. I know I saw Jen Lesswing.
Does she have to go teach?
No? Sorry, Jen. Carrie Crichton. Oh. Last but not least, Monica Hamilton. See us down here and we'll get your tickets to them. One more piece of trivia. Who is the only United States president from Michigan? Gerald Ford, who said it? All right. Free membership to the Society of Presidential Historians in Academia. Done. Brendan Hall is the winner. We're at time, so I'm just going to wrap up and say this. I hope that what you heard today is that Endicott continues to be in a unique and positive position, and we are so confident in the future of Endicott and all of your futures as a whole that while it may seem from our perspective sometime, when I back to the beginning of the slides where I noted all of our communications, it might seem that there is uncertainty, but there is no uncertainty because Endicott is in the right spot. And I'll end with this, that I hope, again, I want to hear ideas. I want to have dialogue with all of us. And I know that I try to be everywhere on campus, and I've heard from many of you, right? From Mel Manson, who emailed me about something, and I got back in a minute. To Anne Marie Scholler emailed me to talk about a book recommendation not too long ago. Brian Cordemanch and Madeline Gordon were in my office. Julie Calzini, Jen Fluelling, I saw her. Kristen DiGiovanni. We stop and talk and come up with great ideas and new things that we are talking about every single day. So please don't hesitate. I meant what I said when I emailed my welcome back message to say that my door, my inbox, my phone, my text messages are always open. The text messages are not open past 9 o'clock, but everything is always open. Please get a hold of me and let's talk about what your new and great idea is to keep Endicott on the forefront of the higher education sector as a whole. So thank you all.
Well done, everybody.